Attorneys for Sam Bankman-Fried are pushing back against the DOJ, Department of Justice's allegations that the FTX founder has tampered with witnesses. Joining us now to discuss this is CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day, who is also editor of CoinDesk State of Crypto newsletter. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
So tell us, SPF's attorneys, they've made some latest defenses, I'd say. What are the latest filings actually saying?
Yeah, so on Tuesday night, attorneys for Sam Bankman-Fried responded to a DOJ brief, which basically asked the judge to revoke Bankman-Fried's bail and send him to jail ahead of his trial. According to the defense attorneys, the government's case they claim was, quote, extremely thin and mischaracterizes a lot of the actions that they allege that Bankman-Fried, committed in the course of his release on bond over the last 7 months or so. A couple examples: the DOJ pointed to Bankman-Fried reaching out to FTX U.S. General Counsel Ryan Miller, asking to coordinate statements, or vet statements rather, his use of a virtual private network, supposedly to watch a football game, which, again, is freely available on any television in the U.S., and most recently, his alleged leaking of Carolyn Ellison's documents, private diary, to try and intimidate her as a witness to the New York Times. According to the defense, all of those actions are mischaracterized. They say that Miller reached out to Bankman-Fried first and shared some limited signal screenshots indicating that he had, in fact, messaged him first back in November of 2022. They said that the virtual private network was for, innocuous purposes, that the government has no proof otherwise, which admittedly the government did admit, but also said that's because the nature of a VPN prevents them from, knowing what exactly someone's doing with it. And most recently, they're saying that, the DOJ itself provided comment, or rather spoke to the New York Times, without attribution, pointing to certain details in the article. So, now we'll see how the DOJ responds. They have until Thursday to file a last response, and then it'll be up to the judge to decide, should there be a hearing, or does he have enough material as is?
Nick, we can't talk about Sam Bankman-Fried. I just have to ask your opinion. What do you think is the credibility of these rumors or reports that he's behind this latest sort of rug pull? I mean, is there a there?
I have honestly zero idea. So, on the one hand, he's subject to a pretty strict set of restrictions right now, right? Everything he's doing while in his parents' house is recorded. Every visitor is recorded. Every phone call he makes gets recorded. He has to use computers with software that track his activity. He has a white list of websites he can access. So if it's not on the list, he can't access it. So, it's certainly possible that anyone who's spent some time in the crypto sector and who's familiar, who's good at computers and using them, might find a way to bypass all of these controls and restrictions and, create a token and rug pull it. But it would be, I think, difficult to prove. And again, he's subject to quite a hefty list of restrictions right now. I'm not sure if he's still in New York. He was in New York last week to, be present in the hearing on Wednesday. So, yeah, that is an interesting rumor. I haven't seen anything one way or another to say anything about that.
Yeah, dramatic allegation.
I do have one final question for you, Nick. What is the agency of journalists, like from the New York Times, in actually doing the work, in convincing SPF to share the documents? Is that something that's factored into this conversation or this hearing?
It is not, I don't think. So during the hearing on Wednesday, Judge Lewis Kaplan, who's overseeing the case, pointed out that he doesn't have the authority to, restrict, quote, the whole world. He can place limits on Bankman-Fried's conduct, on how the DOJ, comports itself. But as far as, let's say, the general public goes, because, for purposes here, journalists are part of the general public, he's not really anything he can do about what they say. So, if a reporter finds a private diary belonging to Ellison and asks for comment and reports on that, that's one thing. The actual conduct the DOJ is concerned with is they say that Bankman-Fried is, deliberately trying to share or leak content that would have an impact on, either her credibility as a witness or potentially try and harass and intimidate her before she even, steps onto the witness stand. So, the journalists, I would say, the news organizations that are publishing on this are not really a factor as far as the judge is concerned. It's more, how is Bankman-Fried engaging with them? What is he doing? And is that conduct, a violation of his bail conditions? And is it meant to violate the law?
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Nick. That was CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day. And don't forget to sign up for the State of Crypto newsletter on CoinDesk.com.